Though he had to live in a cruel age, his contemporaries called him Joker. The name of the landscape and genre painting master was Pieter Bruegel the Elder. On his canvases, he depicted a man as an unreasonable, lazy, lustful animal that is helpless facing powerful forces of the universe. The future master of Northern Renaissance, Pieter Bruegel the Elder, was born between 1525 and 1530 at a small village on the border of modern Holland and Belgium. In his 20s, he left his home and went to Antwerp, where he became a pupil of Pieter van Elst, who was a court artist of Emperor Charles V. Bruegel comprehended the principles of the trade in his rich patriarchal house. In 1551, he was admitted to the Antwerp Guild of Artists. On a commission from his main customer, Hieronymus Koch, an engraver and print seller, Bruegel went to Italy to make some sketches for engravings. Bruegel was astounded by monuments of Rome and picturesque Mediterranean harbors, but mountains astonished this plainsman most of all. One of his friends wrote, "When Peter was in the Alps, he swallowed rocks and mountains, and when he returned home, he began to throw them out on the canvas." In his first picture, painted in oils in 1553, you could already see the mountains, the sky, the sea, and what is most important, the paradoxical personality of Bruegel himself. The artist literally turned the popular ancient plot about Icarus inside out. The flight of the winged people surprises nobody. A plowman doesn't leave his furrow. A fisherman is occupied with his net. A shepherd dreams of something leaning on his crook. As for Icarus, we can only see a pair of funny legs and ripples on the water. Nothing could hide from Bruegel's sarcastic look. Genre paintings and evangelic plots underwent a grotesque reinterpretation. In his crowded pictures, The Conversion of St. Paul, The Sermon of St. John the Baptist, Christ carrying the cross, any person looks like a helpless speck of dust. Even Christ himself doesn't stand out in an indifferent crowd surrounding him. There are so many characters and various scenes in his pictures that they can hardly be retold. Pieter Bruegel wasn't interested in a concrete person. He never painted portraits, maybe because he had no illusions about greedy, silly, envious, and lazy mankind. Many of Bruegel's paintings make a modern spectator puzzled. But contemporaries understood his humor immediately because the works of the master were direct illustrations of famous Dutch proverbs. This gave the gloomy artist his nickname, Joker. But the great scoffer at human stupidity had to live during the cruel rule of Spanish invaders in the Netherlands. Even in Bruegel's early landscapes, we can often see gallows and equipment for breaking on the wheel. His evangelic plots, the census in Bethlehem, and the slaughter of the innocent, mask scenes of robberies and plunders carried out by foreign oppressors that were contemporary for the artist. Bruegel was inspired by peasant life, unpretentious and even vulgar, but completely honest and devoted to only one aim: fight for food. Bruegel often put on peasant clothes and went to a village where he watched furious revelry and gluttony at village festivities. He impartially fixed human imperfection against majestic nature. After such masterpieces as The Netherlands Proverbs and children's games, people began to call him peasant. In the character of the Virgin in his picture, The Adoration of the Kings, he immortalized Maria, his teacher's daughter. In 1563, at the age of 17, Maria became his wife. The married couple went to Brussels, where Pieter devoted himself to painting. Historians say a little archly that between 1564 and 1569, Bruegel created his greatest works, and not only in art. During this period in his family, a daughter, whose name history didn't save, and 2 sons, Jan and Peter the Younger, were born. The sons became famous artists too. The Seasons, Pieter Bruegel's last series of pictures, showed the beauty of peasant labor. The director Andrei Tarkovsky placed a winter picture of this series in the space station in his film Solaris to remind about the beauty of the Earth left behind. Bruegel's family happiness lasted only 6 years. He died on the 5th of September, 1569. Before his death, he told his young wife to burn many of his engravings and pictures in order not to bring the anger of the Inquisition on his family. Bruegel's paintings are amazingly modern. His works became precursors of surrealism in European art. 4 centuries after the artist's death, he was called Belgium's national hero. The great joker, Pieter Bruegel the Elder, hardly ever painted smiling faces. Only obscene laughter and grimaces, and snow-covered hills and earring cornfields got quiet joy and purity.